All right, so today I'm really excited to introduce all of you to some of the best mapping apps out there. I will distinguish which maps are best for certain situations, and I will also be telling you certain settings that you should be aware of, and also tips and tricks that you can use when you're using these apps. So, you are probably all pretty familiar with many apps such as Google Maps, but there are also a lot of other great mapping applications for more specific mapping needs that you should be aware of. These apps could possibly help you during times of heavy traffic. Some maps are better suited for urban areas and other for rural areas. There are also maps for walking and public transportation, and there are also great maps for hiking or if you appreciate nature and want to venture off the beaten path. All right, so the first and most common map that many people have is Apple Maps. So this is built into all Apple products. However, it is not available for download on other devices such as Android devices and Windows devices. This is decently reliable for navigating urban and suburban areas. However, it doesn't have enough data to really be a reliable navigator for most rural areas.
This is the general delivery mailbox. You have 6 new messages.
All right, so our next
recorded on August 26th.
All right, sorry. Our next app is Waze. So Waze is really great because it collects real-time data from you and other drivers that use the app. So this will give you up-to-date and live information on traffic, motor accidents, and also police sightings. It can also map your route for a future time. So this means that it can predict how long it will take you to get to a certain area based on the current traffic trends. And finally, it's actually known and possibly notorious for giving unusual routes that can actually get you to your location faster. It won't necessarily give you the most straightforward routes, but the routes that it gives you are probably faster than your usual ones. The only disadvantage to Waze is that it's only for driving navigation, which means that it won't work if you're preferring to walk or bike or use public transportation. All right, so next we have the app City Mappers. So this is navigation meant for traveling by foot or by bike or by public transportation. It is built specifically for city use and will not work as well in rural areas where there are not nearly as much public transportation. It has the most reliable and up-to-date information on public transportation, and it will give you to-the-minute predictions for when your next train or bus will arrive. It also gives you very helpful details like what end of a train you should get on or what side of the subway that you should exit from, and this will be very useful if you are ever possibly lost in a city. All right, so next we have the app Here We Go. Here We Go is very useful if you are traveling somewhere that you're unfamiliar with because you can download these maps for offline use from over 200 countries. This means that you could download an entire country's map onto your device, and if you're ever lost and don't have Wi-Fi, you can use your downloaded maps to help you navigate through that area. It also has multi-layer floor layouts for large buildings such as airports and shopping centers, so it can help you navigate an airport, which I know is often very confusing for all of us. And finally, Here We Go is ideal for city use because it also has a really great public transit navigating tool. Our next app is AllTrails, and this is very useful if you enjoy going on hikes or walking in nature because you can search by activities or the views that you might see outside on a trail. You can search trails, for example, based on if you can see a waterfall, and this will be helpful if you want to see beautiful trails or if you want to go fishing and having fun that way. Next, you can also get up-to-date information on trail conditions. So if a user reports that a trail has flooded because of heavy rains, you can be aware of that, and you can keep in mind to not go on that trail during heavy rainfall days. Next, you can also see update information on trail closures, so you won't find out too late that the trail you plan to go on is actually closed. A very useful tool is that AllTrails can help you search trails by their difficulty. So if you want a more laid back trail, you can search for an easy trail. Or if you're up for a challenge, you can also search for harder trails. Finally, AllTrails can record your hike so you know where you have gone, and you can choose to revisit old trails that you have been on, or you can search for new trails that you want to explore. Finally, the most well-rounded app for mapping is Google Maps. Google Maps is connected to your Google account, so this means that you can save your favorite locations on here so that you can remember them and you can revisit them. It also has a fairly reliable mapping service because it's updated very frequently. So this will give you up-to-date information such as on traffic and road closure. It is also reliable for urban and rural use, so you can use Google Maps virtually anywhere. It can also map your driving, your walking, your biking, and your public transportation, and it can even search for flights that you want to take. And finally, Google Maps can also download portions, certain areas for offline use. However, it can only download smaller regions, unlike Here We Go, and that's a bit of a disadvantage. All right, so many of these apps don't only do the things that I've described, they also have many smaller things that they are able to do that will help you a lot. So for this example, I will be showing you some of the things that Google Maps can use, and I'll take you through many of its features. All right, so my first example here is how to download maps for offline use. As you can see here, this is a map of Paris, and if you wanted to download this map of Paris, you can swipe up on this location, and you can see it will show you this screen. On the far right, you will see a button that says download. And if you click on download, it will show you this image. And you can see within this right square, that is the area that Google Maps will download for you. If you choose to download it, then you can click on the download button, and this will give you a map that you can use offline. Next, we have the option of saving locations on Google Maps. So if you search for a location and then you select it, it will show you this screen. Down at the bottom, you see here, there is a button that says Save. If you click on Save, it will show you this screen, and on it are many of your lists of certain locations that you want to save. And all you have to do is click on these squares to choose if you want to save it to that list. And once you're done doing that, make sure to click Done, and you can save your location. Now, you can also map multiple locations at once. This is very useful if, say, you want to leave from your home, pick up a friend, and then go to a restaurant together. You can choose first your own location, and you could choose your second location, which could be your friend's house. And then if you click on these three dots right here, it will show you this screen. Here, if you click stop, add stops, then it will give you a third stop. As you can see, there's your first location, and then there's your location A and your location B. If you click on this area right here, then you can choose your third stop to go to, and that way you can map multiple places at once. As well, if you are not entirely sure where you want to go, then you don't have to search for a super specific location. You can also search for a broader term in order to find locations under that category. For example, if you search up cafe, then it will show you a lot of locations for local cafes in your area. All right, so another great thing that you can do is that you could plan a route for later. So once you have selected your own location and your destination, you can also choose down here where it says today. If you click on that, you are able to set a certain date and a certain time that you want to leave. And in this way, Google Maps could remind you of when you have to leave for that route. And also, it can also tell you how long it will take you to get there on that day. A great feature of Google Maps is that you can see the traffic along your route. So traffic is color-coded in Google Maps, and generally these are the general colors that they will use to show how severe the traffic is. So red normally means the traffic is gridlock, which basically means all cars are at a dead stop and there is a lot of very severe traffic. Orange means that the traffic is not nearly as severe as red, but the cars are going slower than usual. If you see blue or green routes, it means that there is very little traffic in these areas and traffic should be as per usual. Another very interesting feature of Google Maps is that you can remember where you have parked. So if you click on any location in Google Maps and you hold it and release, there will be this screen will pop up. And here, if you choose to set it as a parking location, it will add a little pin onto your Google Maps. As you can see right here, it says you parked near here, and that means that once you want to go back to your car or your bike after you have finished grocery shopping or something like that, you can easily find the location of your vehicle. If you want to share your location with your friends, you can also choose to do that. So if you go on your Google Maps and you click on your account icon, you can see the screen show up where it says location sharing. If you click on that, then it will show all of your friends or people that you have or other people who use Google Maps. And you can choose to share your real-time location with other people. You can also choose to either share with friends and families currently for a long time, or you can choose for only a few hours or something like that in order for your friends or family to find you. Finally, another useful feature of Google Maps and many other apps is that you can change your location sharing settings. Often, these apps are great tools, but they will eat up your data, and they can also collect data on you and your location based on tracking you through these apps. To ensure that this lessens and that these apps are, that you are maximizing your use of these apps, you can go to your settings and you can change your location sharing settings to while using app only. So this means that the app will not be able to see your location unless you're actively using it to search up locations to go to. On an Apple device, such as an iPhone or iPad, you can go to your settings app, and then you click on privacy on the left, and then you click on location. You can click on location services, and if you scroll there, then you can find your app and click on whether you want to have it see your location while using your app only or not. On Android devices, you can go into your settings, and if you click on locations, then you can select certain apps and choose whether you want them to use your location or not. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. I hope you guys learned a lot